Hey everyone, welcome back to the Armed Scotsman. Today on the table we have a H&K MR556. Let's get this one going. Alright everybody, as I said, this is H&K's MR556, chambered in 556, and has a short piston system in here. Let's go ahead and get this review started. Obviously it does not come with this EOTech combo. This is a 5x magnifier, and this is the EXPS 3-0 for those who want to know. That's the combo we use for the review. So let's just go ahead and start at the back here. This is H&K's stock. It's kind of a... I think it's kind of ugly, but it doesn't matter. It functions just fine. Not as aesthetically pleasing for me, but it does have this large rubber kind of butt pad on the back here, which works great. It is pretty beefy. Moving to here, you have kind of OG sling attachments on either side here. I don't like the location of these. Feels like they should be off the cheek weld, where you kind of rest. Anyway. They are here. Not a big fan of those. Have another OG sling attachment right there. What I do like is where the location of this button is to adjust this. Snag free, puts it right out of the way. Locks in place pretty well. Has a little bit of wiggle, not too much. Overall, I mean, it's a decent stock. It's just not one of my favorites that I've reviewed. But functionality works just great. Do have a mil-spec buffer tube. Come down to your castle nut. It has been staked in one place and it's staking as you would expect from H&K. Looks very, very good. So there is that. Okay, moving along to the upper and lower receiver, 75 T6 aluminum. You have a pick rail on the top here. It is marked. It's not with your 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 all the way along the top of the rail. Charging handle is an oversized charging handle. It's not ambidextrous. So for those of us who are righties who will charge with the left, you do have an oversized charging handle. Would have been nice for an ambi charging handle. Is it a big deal? No. Moving down, you have your standard controls. You have your brass deflector, your forward assist. Dust cover is polymer. So there is that. You do have an ambi safety right here. I like that the color's been filled in for fire and safe. One of the things I don't love about the ambi safety is the again, this is only, well, I guess this is for both left and right. So obviously I'm a right-handed shooter. The length of the safety is the same on both sides, which means it sits down kind of far and will rub on your finger. Even when I'm even down on the trigger, it still sits in the tip of my my index finger. So I would have liked to have seen that either a little shorter, kind of the kind of a cutout at the bottom. So anyway, I do like ambi safeties. I know they're not for everybody, but I personally do like them. Just not in love with the length of that ambi safety. Moving down, you have a K2 Plus grip. It did come with it. These are personally my favorite grips on the market. I really like these. It's a rubber overmold, great angle. Storage compartment on the bottom. For me, they feel really good. I really like them as a personal thing, so big fan. Have your mag release. Have your mag, we'll come to that in just a second. You do have a large, and this one is enlarged, like more so than I've seen on most standard AR-15s, enlarged mag well, which is really nice to insert your 30-round PMag that comes with the gun. This is a Gen 3 or an M3 PMag, and it's important that I state that because if you have an M2, good luck getting that to seat. It won't. Even with the charging handle pulled back, lock that in place. Whoops, it was my bad. I hit the bolt catch. Right back. We got the Gen 2 again. Yep. Gen 2 Magpul mags, or M2 Magpul mags, will not work in this gun. Yeah, so not a big fan of that. You have to have the M3s, so if you buy this gun, you will need the Gen 3's M3, as they're referred to, from Magpul. They work just fine, but not the second version. So bear that in mind. I do feel that is quite the drawback. Personally, I think that I can't understand why I wouldn't accept Gen 2s. And the reason I say it's a drawback is, you know, if I'm out training with my friends and we're passing mags around, somebody gives me a Gen 2 and I'm like, oh yeah, I can't load a Gen 2, get a Gen 3. You know what I mean? It's kind of silly. So don't love that. All right. Where do we get to? Okay, trigger, let's do the trigger. Comes with a stage 2 trigger. So you got a little bit of take up that first stage, about, you know, 1-2 pound pull right there to the wall. Decent, clean, crisp brake. Let's reset that. Got a little bit of let out, and it is forceful, and a thunk. So it's not a bad trigger. It's not the best trigger. It's not a terrible trigger. So, but again, it works just fine. I got up and running with that trigger just fine. I did some precision shots with it, and it did it just fine. But if you, again, not to harp on this, but if you do like nicer triggers, you may not love that trigger. All right. So yeah, 13 pick rail all the way along here. Right here where it joins with the rail, it's kind of like a puzzle piece that goes in there, and that's for your anti-rotation, which is really nice. Also, to take this rail off, there's just this one screw right here. You take that out and you should be able to take that rail off just fine. It does have QD sling attachments on either side. Now, coming to the rail, you'll see right here has Magpul slot, it has M-lock slots all the way around, plenty of rail space to add whatever you need. Now, another thing with this rail, it's girthy, okay? If you're not used to girth, this might surprise you. Okay, so comparing to a standard AR-15, this is definitely a larger, thicker handguard. And I'm assuming that's to do with keeping the piston system underneath here. Probably needs a little bit more room. People did say, well, it could probably heat with heat dispersion and things like that because it's got a little more room away from the barrel. Quite possibly. I was out shooting this in 100-degree weather and it was just hot no matter what. So I can't really vouch for that. So anyway, sorry, yeah, so that is your handguard. It's definitely girthy, as I said. I have medium-sized hands. I can still get a good C-clamp on there. And if you have larger hands, maybe this might be a little more beneficial to you than the standard AR-15 rails. Underneath this handguard, as I say, we have the piston system in here. Short stroke piston system. It is not adjustable. The gas setting is not adjustable. What you get is what you get. Underneath there we have also, along with that piston system, is a 16.5-inch barrel. This is, what do they call it? Their hammer forged cannon barrel material. I'll put the exact name in, but it's like cannon barrel material. It's just wild. So 16.5-inch barrel, chambered in 556, so you can shoot 556 and 223, and your bird cage on the front there. Okay, one of the other things I like to do is the wiggle test and actually see if there's any play between this upper and lower receiver. Doesn't affect the gun in any kind of way if there is, but I'm just curious. Let's check that out. No, absolutely nothing, no play whatsoever in there. Now on the outside, the fit and finish is phenomenal. It's H&K. Everything's perfect on it. Very, very nice. Now, to take this gun down, we do have the front and back pivot pins, which are kind of takedown pins that you're used to. However, they are more difficult to take down than a standard AR-15, which brings me to another point that I don't love about this gun. So you're going to need something small. I just have an Allen key here. Inside where you'd normally push your pivot pin or your takedown pin out, it will not go. No matter what you do, it will not go. In the center of that pin, there's a little hole, and it feels what feels like almost like a detent that you've got to depress. Actually, if you've ever unlocked an inside door that has a little hole in your door, like to your bathroom because your kid's locked it or something, and you take something like this and you push it through, and you got to find that little button, you push it in to unlock it. That's how it feels with this. So you push this in, and then you can feel it, it moving. Once you push it in, you push forward to push your pin out like so. Now once this pin is out, you'd be like, oh, I can probably just push it back, right? Without doing that again. No, you've got to take your pin, put it through the hole, find that button again, push it in, and then push I kid you not, man. push it in, and there, and you got it through. Why? Why? I don't like it, don't get it. I'm sure there's a purpose for it, I'm sure there's a reason for it, but I do not like it. Anything that requires me to use something stupid like this to take my AR-15 down, I am not a fan. Anyway, all right, let me take that back down because I'm going to show you the bolt carrier grip. So yeah, push it in, and then push the button, or push the edge through. It's so stupid. And then, all right, all the way through, I think. Did we get all the way through? Nope. There we go. All right, so in the back here, you have a heavy buffer. I think this is a H or H4. It's very heavy to do with the gassing of this system to kind of control it. So it is a pretty heavy buffer system back here. In here you have your charging handle, which I referred to, just having that extended in one piece. And then we have your bolt carrier grip. So obviously this is not a traditional bolt carrier grip because it doesn't have like the traditional gas key staking because it's a piston driven. So that's why it looks a little different if you were wondering. It is made in DE in Germany. It's got the marks for DE in there, even though the gun is actually made, I believe, in GA. In Georgia, but the actual bolt the bolt carrier grip seems to be made in Germany if we're going off the markings on the bolt carrier grip. So I mean, exquisite condition, like perfect, as you would again expect for this price point and from H&K. Everything looks really, really nice. One of the things I really like is how that pushes back, how your bolt pushes back. It's pretty cool. So yeah, excellent bolt carrier. All right, so we are back together. Let's talk about shooting the gun. I went through 300-400 rounds, something like that. No problems at all, as you would expect. Recoil impulse with a piston system is definitely different than a gas system, but it was very flat, like very little recoil. I say flat shooting, but it was very little recoil. The trigger worked great for up and running pretty fast. I did a couple of precision shots. Okay, so these targets are green with black, so they're going to look funky with my green screen, so I apologize. This is ACC 77 grain precision ammo. We're all about 1 M away here. I had actually shot 5. I don't know if I keyholed or if I got a flyer. I don't think I had a flyer, but I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I keyholed. I don't know. Okay, so I was shooting at about 75 A yards, not the full 100 yards for these. This was Black Hills. Now this one, I knew I pulled a little bit when I shot it. You know yourself, if you're just taking those shots, you pull it, you're like, damn it. But even considering I knew I pulled it, look at that grouping there. That's half ammo away, 100 yards or 80 yards with this Black Hill ammo. That is fantastic. That's one of the better accuracies I've seen out of an AR-15. Very, very accurate. And as I say, that little one there was my flyer, but that is very, very good. Okay, so accuracy is very good, especially good ammo. If you're using, good ammo, you're going to get very good accuracy. So I hate talking about pricing because obviously things change. The reason I got one of these is because normally they're like $3 grand plus. Honestly, I would not touch it at $3 grand plus. I just wouldn't. Is it a nice rifle? Sure. Is it $3 grand plus nice? No. My personal opinion. I did pick this up for $2,500, and I feel that's more in the price range of where this should be. Maybe even a little less. But anyway, at the $2,500 price mark, I was like, okay, I'll get it in and review it and we'll see how it does. So overall, I did really like it. There's some things, as I mentioned, that I really don't like though. So it's kind of mixed. I really don't. So the safety I can live with. I mean, I can change that out. It's not going to be a problem. If I want to, I guess I could change it out. I mean, it doesn't bother me hugely. I really dislike the takedown pins, having to use something to take those down. I really, really dislike that. I'm not a fan. Now, seriously, I don't know how often you would, I don't know how often you would take your gun down, maybe to clean it. So, it's not as though you probably have to do it super often. So is it a deal breaker? Probably not. It was just something I found frustrating on the gun. And then probably the biggest issue, not taking Gen 2 PMags for me is a very big issue. But if you can live with all that, you've got a very, very good rifle on your hands. I'm not bashing the rifle in that way. It's excellent. It just has some cons for me. So anyway, that is it for me. If you have any questions, any comments, please ask below. Happy to help out wherever I can. And that's it. Until next time, folks, I'll catch you later.